Why man?
Well, hello again. I thought I'd give you guys a quick little glimpse of Newcastle before I head off on my travels around Europe, albeit platform 3 at the central station. Yeah, I'll be down at Wembley tonight before heading to North Macedonia and then on to Turkey for a special meeting with a former Newcastle player. It's not John Joe Shelby, by the way. So thanks again for your questions. I'll be answering them during the course of the next few days at various outposts across Europe. Okay guys, see you soon. Well, England 2, Malta 0, and honestly guys, on full time, I would safely bet that there were more people in Wembley Park tube station than there were here inside Wembley Stadium. It was pretty underwhelming stuff. For you guys, Newcastle United fans, Kieran Trippier came through it unscathed. There you go, played the first half at right back, the second half at left back, and to be honest with you, it was almost the perfect outing for him. So untroubled was he. But yeah, on we go now to Skopje. Well, before we go to North Macedonia, here's the other side of the job. Yeah, London, the city that never sleeps, except most of the pubs shut at midnight. So here I am, drinking alone in a hotel foyer. See you soon. Morning. Now for the Stansted Express, which stops at 2 or 3 of the stations and takes close to an hour. Yeah, they should just really call it the Stansted train. Okay. A couple of hours to kill. Let's see a bit of Germany. Second thought.
The Balkan, middle of the crazy people in the world.
Yeah. So that there in front is the Macedonian team bus. Yeah. Let's go and have a look. Come on, let's go and see them. There we are.
They're going now from left.
Yeah, so the downside of me excitedly grabbing my camera phone and filming the North Macedonian football team checking into a hotel was that they then had to check into a hotel and I was all of a sudden at the back of a queue. Anyway, here we are in my room. Lovely hotel, middle of nowhere, by the way. I think we're as close to Kosovo as we are to Skopje. But anyway, let's go and see what we can find. Right guys, here we go. This is quintessential Eastern Europe. A bar in an underpass. Let's see what it's got. Good morning from Skopje. Yeah, here we are on Macedonia Street, which runs through the heart of the capital. Just there's a London bus just gone past. Just over my shoulder as well is a statue of Alexander the Great, and in front of me the memorial house of Mother Teresa, who was born here in 1911. Yeah, there's something for everyone. Now I had thought this was going to be a nice Sunday morning stroll, get some fresh air. It's lovely. It's lovely here today. Sadly, I've just read that this is Europe's most polluted city, so there you go. Now, thankfully, all I can smell at the moment are the roasted chestnuts in front of Mother Teresa's house, so yeah, we'll go and give them a go. There they are. Very good.
Was magst du spazieren, ja? Deutsch?
And here is Mother Teresa's memorial house. Let's have a look. Actually, it might not be a bad idea for Eddie Howe to bring his Newcastle squad here on some sort of pilgrimage, given the current state of disrepair. So, statues and stray dogs, plenty of them. Let's have a little wander to the old bazaar. Well, hello again. Now, here we are. I've already shown you central Skopje, but today we're out in the suburbs, right by the banks of the River Vardar. And I have a little stroll along here. Yeah, I just thought I'd show you show you something different. Now what I'm wearing, the apparel, I wouldn't normally wear a black and white overshirt with a navy hoodie, but you need the shirt for the purposes of sound quality. Yeah, you need somewhere to clip the microphone, you see. So even if I'm talking absolute nonsense, as long as you guys can hear me okay, that's what's important. I asked for your questions the other day on the community tab on this channel. Thank you very much. Over 25 responses there. I probably can't get through all of them, but I can double some of them together. I'm going to answer a couple now, and then I might bring you some more from Turkey and perhaps even Austria later in the week. Yeah, why don't we see a bit of Europe? Now, one question which was a recurring theme: should Newcastle duck out of the Champions League and concentrate on the Premier League? And which of the remaining competitions, bearing in mind Newcastle are the only English club who can still do the quadruple, which of those competitions should they concentrate on? Now, for me, should I think they duck out of the Champions League? Absolutely not. No, primarily because I want these little European trips and I like bringing you videos from foreign shores. So no, you would want them to go through. Of course you would. You know, in terms of the Champions League, the money really cranks up when you start getting to the knockout rounds as well. So if Newcastle can make it through, I think they will. You know, bearing in mind knockout rounds, by the time they come round, there would have been a January window there and other players back. So I think if they can get through, absolutely they should do. On the flip side of that, would it be the worst thing in the world? And this speaks to the second part of the question I'm going to answer, because I think the absolute priority has got to be the Premier League, and I'll say the reasons why. So to that end, would it be the worst thing in the world if Newcastle didn't have European football beyond Christmas? Maybe not, and you know, you can all understand the arguments for that without me going into them. But why do I think the Premier League is the priority, and specifically why do I think the top four is the priority? Because for me, and I've committed to this since the start of the season, I think Newcastle have to, above all else this year, renew membership of the Champions League. If they want to be a club who can push back the guardrails, the boundaries of FFP and spend what they want to spend, because the money is there, we know the money's there, they've got the rich owners, it's just the ability to spend it under UEFA Premier League rules that is the problem. You've got to be a Champions League club to do that. You need that momentum, you know, that rolling 3-year period where you go back and calculate, and to do that you need to be a Champions League side. I think that's where Newcastle's priority has got to be, and that is why, and this talks to another point I've made repeatedly about the recruitment. I just this does upset some folk. I don't think the recruitment was bad. I think the recruitment was good. I can stand here and make an argument for the 4 signings being fantastic. But I did think at the time, and I've since said, I perhaps thought in the isolation of what they needed to achieve this season, it had to be a little more short-termism and pragmatic. It had to ease the load on the guys of last year. And as we've seen, this isn't with hindsight, it's just fact. It hasn't, you know. At a time when I thought perhaps Eddie could have rotated earlier in the year, earlier in the season when it was the same 11, 12, 13 players, they didn't. Is that the reason for the injury problems now? I'm not going to say yes, because a few of them are freak injuries, but certainly I don't think the recruitment eased that load as much as it perhaps should have done. It is a subject which does spark some debate, which is good. That's what we're here for. Next question was, will Eddie Howe be sacked if Newcastle don't get the top 4? Now, I don't think this was a particularly naughty question. I think it was a genuine query, because the user, and apologies, I forget the name, said that well they wouldn't, they support Eddie. Will he be sacked? No. But what we don't know is how the Saudis respond to setbacks or to perceived failure, because so far they've been spoilt really. Since Eddie come in, it's been up and up and up and up, like these tower blocks in the background there. Yeah, lovely brutalist communist tower blocks there. I do love that sort of thing, but anyway, that's another channel, maybe one day. And yeah, you know, it's just been so good and so brilliant under Eddie that on one hand that makes him, for me, so secure in his job, and I think Newcastle are lucky to have the manager they've got. I think he's elite, I think he's brilliant, you know my thoughts. But do we know what the Saudis thinking? When we had dinner with Darren Eales out in America, that was a question I asked of him, you know, how will these guys react to a bump in the road? And the honest answer is we just don't know, because they haven't had it yet. But will Eddie be sacked if they don't get the top 4? I'd put my 99% certain, absolutely not. I think Newcastle know what they've got. Certainly the guys on the ground will be feeding back to Riyadh, telling them exactly how good Eddie is. So in answer to that question, no, I don't think so. Okay, so I've got myself a little bit lost wandering along the river talking to you guys, and my hotel is somewhere over there beyond this patch of former Yugoslav wasteland. So yeah, wish me luck. Istanbul. Good morning from Adana on the next leg of our European tour. Look at that. I must admit, this is among my more pleasant office spaces, even allowing for my feline friend. Hello. Well, I finally tracked this man down, and what a pleasure it was. Lots more to come at the Daily Mail too.
Wide-eyed man.
It's handy if it rains. Here we are in Adana. Let's have a look at the clock tower. Well, here I am beneath the great clock tower here in central Adana, which was built 200 years ago to symbolise the modernisation of the city. I tell you what would capture 21st century modernisation, and that would be a nice craft ale bar. Sadly, I'm told the nearest place for a beer is about 25 minutes walk away, so yeah, while I am walking, we can talk too. And the only place to start really is yesterday's news out of the Premier League shareholders meeting. I arrived here in Turkey and I'd got word that the vote had gone against the majority, if that makes sense. Yeah, we fully expected the new fast track ban on related party loans to be put through. By that I mean we thought they would get the 14 votes needed. It wasn't so, only 12. Now there were 8 clubs who voted against it, and you could say yes, that is a victory for Newcastle United. Does this mean they're going to go out immediately now and bring in Ruben Neves, Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar? No, it doesn't. I don't think that was ever really the case. It was more a point of principle, really, that Newcastle and others, maybe, I don't know, but certainly Newcastle thought that this rule was being brought in deliberately to resist them, and I can see why they would think that. You know, if I've put my feelings on record before, is I think this avenue should have been shut off a long time ago, whereby you've got clubs with the same owners who are able to trade between themselves for obvious reasons. Now, why did the vote fail to get the wider support that it needed? Well, I think this would have only been the start, by the way. This would have been a temporary ban on incoming loans, primarily just for the January window. Beyond that, we'd reported this, and the word was the ruling would have evolved, and it would have evolved just as the lights go out here. Yeah, that's better, I'm back in the light now. Yeah, and the ruling would have evolved into something whereby it could have been an absolute blanket ban on all deals, loans and transfers in and out. Now, why would that have affected the other clubs in the Premier League with multi-club ownership models? Well, primarily because at the moment they use their network of clubs to send young players on loan to get experience. Some of those clubs would have looked at it and thought, well no, you know, we are part of multi-club networks, we don't want it in time shut down entirely. It was starting to feel a little bit like, you know, turkeys and Christmas. The other key vote as well, and don't underestimate the importance of this one, again, which was rejected, the new tougher rules they're trying to bring in on related party transactions. I talked a lot about this last month. The idea that if Newcastle struck a deal with a Saudi company, they would then have to go out and prove multiple offers to the same value for that to be signed off by the Premier League. That again was rejected, and that for Newcastle is good news. Now, whatever lobbying or anything they've done in the background, I don't know. The lawyers have certainly been busy of late, what with Sandro Tonali and getting prepared for this Premier League meeting. The headline in the Daily Mail this morning, even though this was a Premier League-wide thing, was 1-0 to Newcastle. So there you go. Now, just to go back to some of the questions you guys have asked, and this leads on from what we've spoken about before, a lot of the same question: what do I think Newcastle's priority positions are in January, and who do I think they will go for? Who do I think they'll get? Well, I don't know the answer to the latter one. I know the name Calvin Phillips is on there. That has been widely reported. The last I heard was that the numbers might just be prohibitive on that, but that is, of course, always likely to be the case when you're asking about fees and figures this far out. By the time you get to January, it might be different. That is absolutely one to keep an eye on. In terms of positions, well, of course, midfielder, obviously because of Sandro Tonali, but a lot will depend on at what state they arrive. I've got to go down here, by the way. Look at this. Just caught my eye. a little stall which is absolutely dedicated to football strips. Yeah, I've got the feeling I'm going to emerge from this little alleyway a lot poorer than I've walked into it. But anyway, yeah, let's just have a quick look. This is fascinating. Look at this. Here we are, a little underground market. It's not been knocked over. Anyway, I hope my boys appreciate what I'm doing for them here. There's no doubt I am going to come away with. Yeah, this is wow, this is brilliant. But anyway, I'll come back here. I will be back. Yeah, 2 minutes. I come back, definitely.
No problem.
Yeah, where was I? Not about buying football shirts, about buying footballers. And I think, yeah, they're going to look at it at the end of December, going into January. The way injuries are, who knows what they are going to need. There's that motorbike again. I thought this was pedestrianised. Yeah, no, a striker as well. Callum Wilson now is looking as if he's going to be out for between 4 and 6 weeks. We'll know more from Eddie when we speak to him on Friday. You look at Isak is only just coming back from injury. I'm told he will be okay for Saturday against Chelsea, as will Miguel Almiron. But you know, it's a case of just counting them in, counting them out at the moment. So what will the target, as it stands now, if the window opened, I'd say it would be a centre midfielder and a centre forward. Why not a centre half? Centre half is definitely one they're talking about. That hinges on Sven Botman. I reported earlier in the week a little bit of good news on that front, in that it may have changed in the 48 hours since I tweeted this, but nothing had flared up, and Newcastle were waiting for that to remain the case, for that to remain the same. And if so, you would probably avoid surgery, but I think a little way to go on that one yet. Okay, 2 Galatasaray kits later, let's go and find a beer. Must be around here somewhere. Here we go. Right, so we've got pool, beer pong, foosball and live music in one place. Check this out. Goodbye, Turkey. Istanbul again. And hello, Austria. Yeah, well, the plan was to jump on a train into Vienna. Sadly, having spent an hour on the runway in Istanbul, that is no longer possible. So I'm sat here now, waiting for my connection back to Newcastle, and being clear of Turkey does give me the chance to tell you this really quick story. I didn't feel comfortable telling it when I was there, but I was in the hotel bar in Adana last night, and a lady was bothering me. She was saying, do you want to come and join our group? She was with what seemed like a convention of travelling salesmen. She said, we'll buy you a drink, come and join us. You sat by yourself, and I didn't really want to. I was just quite happy, quite happy in my own company. And she said, why are you here? What are you doing? I said, oh, listen, I can't tell you. To which she suddenly said, are you an agent? Are you here to destabilise Turkey? And she wasn't joking, which unnerved me slightly, and I realised I may have got myself into more trouble than I perhaps needed to. So when our back was turned, I slipped off to bed. But this was when my tradecraft kicked in. Yeah, Jason Bourne does journalism, and rather than go back to the 5th floor, aware that the numbers were on the elevators down below, I went to the 6th and walked down the final flight of stairs. So there you go, guys, these vlogs, a bit of football, a bit of travelling, a bit of espionage as well. But anyway, back to more mundane matters, and the final question that you guys left for me on the community tab was, what do I think the ceiling is for Lewis Hall and Tino Livramento? Well, Lewis Hall I would like to see a little bit more of, certainly been impressed by little glimpses so far, especially down there Old Trafford. But Tino Livramento, wow. Now, I was away travelling with Simon Peach of PA, who is a Southampton fan, and we were speaking about Livramento, and he just said, the guy is phenomenal in sort of the brief glimpses they had. He couldn't have thought more of him, and he said Newcastle are very lucky to have him. Now, if Livramento, for me, had had more of a run, more game time, I honestly think he would have been with an outside shout of the England squad for Euro 2024. I was in North Macedonia the other night. I saw Rico Lewis play there, of course, the Manchester City 18-year-old, and I like him a lot. I think he's brilliant. I think he's got a great shout now. Do I think he's so much better than Livramento on what I've seen so far? Absolutely not. I just think perhaps that chance has gone to Tino now, but I really do think he is a an absolute nailed on future England international. But in the immediacy, it's not England's concern. Newcastle need him, and I expect to see a lot more of him in the coming weeks, perhaps even against his old club Chelsea on Saturday. So yeah, guys, that's it for now from me. One of those planes out there is going to take me back to Newcastle in time for Eddie Howe's press conference tomorrow morning. I'll be bringing you the latest from there as well, and on we roll to Chelsea on Saturday before Paris on Monday. Yeah, it's all go. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog from where have we been? Newcastle, London, North Macedonia, Adana, a bit of Istanbul, and here now in Vienna. Okay guys, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you soon. And finally, at the end of 25 minutes, please hit like, please hit subscribe, and please comment. Take care, see you soon.